So we're on our Smurf account. My main's at 5th at the moment, and I thought I'd show you how the meta has felt at the moment. Now, it's pretty much revolving around Frost and Behemoth, and I'll show you round by round and explain the team as we go. Most of the teams you'll see at the moment have a base of Jotun, Frost Behemoth, with the Ranger bonded to him. So the Ranger has Frost and Behemoth as well, and Slashin, which will give us 3 Frost. And quite often into a 3rd Behemoth as well. Pretty much always. And then it's just a matter of, do you build, 5 Earth, Rogue, Nature, Mystic around that. There's even like a Verdant version, Verdant Aegis. But I'll show you, in this game it's going to be 5 Earth and 3 Bulwark. And I think my opponent's even using, he's going to go Fighter. He's going to go 3 Fighter, which is another version. You'll also notice there's the Malura here, who's a Vanguard. I'll explain when and why we would use him, but we're not going to use him in this build. And the Mystics are for late game. I'll run through round by round. So round 2 is always going to be the Slashin, and we'll just put Grocco down in front of them. Depending on who we're playing, we could have played the Volante. So we just play our Jotun a little bit back so they target the bulwarks first, and then we're just doing our best to get the advantage of the pathing of our Ranger and Jotun, and eventually our Seer. The Frost, if you didn't know, it's going to blind them for 5 seconds at the start of the game, and then it's going to apply stacks of Frost, and these stacks of Frost are going to slow the enemy, and then when they stack to 10, it's going to do a stun. And it's kind of in a medium area around them. So it's going to give attack speed slow and then a stun. So you'll see them randomly getting stunned. And then Behemoth, every 4th attack, they're doing 20% of their max HP as physical damage, which is quite a lot, especially for these bigger units and the Seer. And it's also doing a 2-second stun once we get 3 of them out. Round 3, we're just getting our 2 rogues, or finishing our 2 rogues, so I usually put them with the Slashin, so they can single target something down. And I like to put the Scarab at the back to tank the Slashin just by himself, and then he will shoot a stun across the board. We're going to get our last Terra Links down. I should say there's different ways to play this as well. Some people will play this J. Cole down in one of these, probably the 3rd round, and he won't give you an extra. He won't get you to 4 frost, but he will apply the frost stacks. So that's why he's there. If you don't find yourself playing it, you can throw him out, but that's why he's there. Oh, you can see that my opponent has done that. That's how he's gotten the 3 Fighter. So I'm going to put my 2 Behemoths near each other. Oops. And I'll even put my Ranger up close. And that's mostly so they can single target something down. Obviously he could put a tank right in front of him and maybe put a Matrix, but I prefer this single target damage. And I'll stack my Ranger near him. Hopefully he passes through there. This is where the all 8 Illuvials finish up. So it's a really strong first 4 rounds. And what this allows us to do is, on round 5, completely buff our Ranger, which is going to be super strong. The Ranger, with all his buffed up armor and weapon, is crazy strong. And often what these games come down to is who the Ranger is pathing onto. Round 5, let's buff up the Ranger, and we're just going to do team resistance. The other option in this round is to sell. I'm probably going to win this round, but you can just go straight power from here and keep the 2 rogues. But I have these 2 mystics in here just as an option late game to power your team up even more. Is just get rid of these two rogues and put in the 2 mystic. The mystic's going to give attack speed to everyone, which will just get you snowballing a little bit quicker. And don't do what I did as well. I'm a bit overexposed on this right hand side. I probably generally have one of the Grocco or the Terra Links, like one on either side of my 2 Behemoths in the middle. So hopefully that showcased 2 variations. I'm going to show you the nature variation as well. So this is one of the other variations that I've seen can be... So this is a second variation that I've seen be quite popular. And we're going to start off with the same setup. And I'll explain the team as we go. But my opponent is playing Psion. So this will be interesting to see a possible counter to this team. Another possible viable meta build. The 7 Psion, and instead of the Toxic Colossus, they're going Granite Colossus. And he actually won that round. It's a strong start. Round 2, we're going to go the Slashing. And I'm just going to put this Atipo in the corner. But as you can see, we're going into 3, so instead of the 5 Earth, 3 Bulwark, we're going 3 Nature, 3 Empath. And Nature in the mirror matchups is good for Hyper because it counters. Let's have a look at what Nature does. Nature is strong against water and strong against air as well, which Frost is either water or air, so it's good kind of anti-hyper as well into these mirror matchups. And the Nature is just like a heal over time, which can be quite strong. But this will be a good opportunity to highlight why we have the Malura in most of these teams. So usually you don't play him, you're just playing him if you're coming up against like an Invoker or Psion. Just gonna place my Seer down because the 3 Behemoth is just gonna help me get through the Colossus. The Titan at the front. He's super tanky because they buffed him every time he megas, he gets 25% less damage taken. Maybe I should have just played the Vanguard, the Malura straight away. But I'm kind of hoping his team does quite well and kind of shows us one of the counters. Like the last team I played with the 2 Earth Rogues and the 5 Earth would probably do a bit better than this, into this compared to the Nature. Let's get our final Nature unit down. We'll get our Vanguard down. So hopefully this will go a little bit better. I still am skeptical at how I'm going to get through the Titan before they clean me up. So I will link both these builds down below. I do prefer the Earth build, but feel free to play with this Nature one as well. I think it probably does well into a mirror, but as you can see, not so much into the Psion Invokers potentially. But if you appreciate that, make sure to like and subscribe and use the link down below, and feel free to ask me anything in the comments as well. So Psion looks like it might be a decent option to try if you're sick of playing these Frost builds. Maybe try experiment with what this guy's playing. The last time I played with the 5 Earth would probably do a bit better than this against this, because I have the Rogues and I've got the 5 Earth, which means the Flishes aren't doing as much damage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this Nature because this just isn't helping, and I'm going to put in Mystic instead. Energy gain, see if that does any better. But if you are going to play this team, I mean after watching this you're probably going to play the Earth team instead if you are. But you would just go that 3 Nature, and then you eventually go into... You'll just keep playing... Wow, I just got destroyed. You would place the J-Cole down, but you would eventually go into 3 Mystic. You would get rid of the Nature units and go into 3 Mystic. But it's just good to... You might be thinking, why don't we just go straight to Mystic? Is because your power spikes are just too late. The 3 Nature, sometimes you can win in the first 4 rounds. Well, we didn't really get to show the Nature build, but I might actually leave that there because that's a good showcase on maybe how to counter it. I don't play Psion, maybe I will start playing Psion and I'll show you how that could potentially counter it, but that's a good showcase of one counter to this Behemoth Frost and something that you might be able to experiment with. But I'll link both of these down below and you can start modifying those teams or just using them straight from the link, and maybe experiment with the Psion build.